back. Let me make sure we're recording. Yes, we are. Hi, and welcome to Module 2 of the Mind with Heart, Creating a Mind with Heart, 12-week online course using the Heart Compass Life Navigation System. And this is a 4-module course. If you missed Module 1, which is about preparing your brain to get ready to connect with the heart, then I'll have some information for you about how to access that module as we go along. In this module, we're going to learn how to connect to the heart and access it and listen to it. And then in Module 3, we're going to learn how to integrate that whole heart, mind, body, soul, spirit system so that you can put this all on autopilot. And I'm going to show you something later so you can understand why that's so important to do that. And then finally in Module 4, it's like a bonus module. I'm going to show you how to integrate it with any other spiritual or personal growth or healing technique or system that you might be using right now. So in the first module, we talked about balancing your left and right brain, and it's more about connecting the left and right brain so that the heart and mind can work together. We're feeling and thinking. We have to have both intuition and sensing the outer world, being able to experience fear so when we know when we're off course in our lives, and to have inner peace so we can identify when we're hearing from the heart. And we talked about how the heart is always connected to the brain. Science is showing that the heart communicates with the brain using the nervous system. It emits hormones, and I'm going to share more information about that in a moment. And there's also an electromagnetic field discovered by the Institute of Heart Math, which is a scientific research institute, has been around for more than 25 years. And in this lesson, we're going to learn about heart intelligence and heart coherence. And I'm going to try something new this time. This is the first time I'm doing this. I am going to share with you, just a moment here. I'm going to share with you a YouTube video. This is a recording of a TEDx lecture, which was done in 2011 by Howard Martin, who is one of the co-founders of the Institute of Heart Math. He's going to talk about heart intelligence and heart coherence. I often get questions about what is heart coherence. I think this is probably the best way to share that. So let me get that set up for you here. Just a moment. Here we go. All right, and we're going to listen. It's 16 minutes long, but we're going to listen to about 10 minutes of it, and then we're going to come back and talk about it in a moment here. There we go.
Well, thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's an honor and a privilege to be here in my home community, talking about the thing that means most to me, which is my heart. And this journey goes back a long way for me now, over 40 years. I started when I was 3. But a long time now. And it started with a couple of realizations. When I was a young man, I realized that life for me had to be about continuous growth. That was what was most important. That seemed to be what life was about, what everything around me was trying to do, whether they were conscious of it or not. And I also realized that life had to be about service to others. Whatever you gained, you needed to find a way to give it. It was an incomplete feeling or incomplete circuit if you didn't give back something from what you gained in your life. And that process led me to a discovery of heart, and an exploration of heart, which has been my life's work. But enough about me, except one more thing I should tell you, and that is that I've lived here proudly in Boulder Creek now for 21 years, but I'm originally from the South. So I think it's an important time to be alive. We've reached a critical juncture where humanity is making choices, where there's a revolution unfolding socially, spiritually, consciously, all kinds of different ways it's happening. And this year, this very year that we're in right now, is a very important choice point year. We are making decisions today that are going to affect our future for a very long time. Those choices will affect our individual lives, our own fulfillment, and then the future of many, many things in the world. And I think that's what a conference like today is all about. It's people coming together to share new ideas, to help us all make the choices that we need to make. In the context of these changing times, we face challenges, but we also are finding solutions. And one of the things that's emerging in the middle of all this is an intelligence we've had for a long time that we access with some consistency, but usually not with regularity. Something we've all heard about, something we all revere when we really make contact with it, and is the intelligence of the heart itself. And heart math is a lot of things, but if I look at it simplistically and say, what are we really doing there? We're really exploring and discovering new things and then passing on information about the intelligence of the heart. And when I speak about the intelligence of the heart, I'm talking about this aspect of us we have inside, because right down to the physical heart, where we now know new things about our physical heart we've never known before. And I'll share some of those things in just a minute. But beyond the physical heart, we have a lot more going on in regards to what heart really is. It is a source of wisdom and intelligence within us. It's high speed, it's intuitive, it's discriminating. It's that place where our authentic self, our really core of ourself, emerges from. It's the birthplace of emotions that we revere the most in our lives. Love, care, compassion, appreciation. Those kind of emotions long, long ago associated with this word heart. As I said earlier, when we access this part of ourselves, it gives us greater discrimination over things, a new ability to see into ourselves, our world, and to others. It is that place we access when we are able to do what we usually can't. It's really our own source of self-security, the place we go to when we need to find answers to things. It's where the hero within is born from. And what I like to think about heart, as I've gone through my life trying to discover more about it, is it really is my own best friend and my most reliable guide to making decisions big and small. To this point, I've been talking, I guess you could call it, philosophically inspirational about heart. And you've heard these things before. At Heart Math, we've done lots of scientific research to look at heart in a different way and to unfold a new understanding of heart that gives us more respect in it. And to do that, we've used science. We've discovered a lot of things about heart. The heart is, in fact, a lot more than a blood pump. It sends powerful commands to the brain and to the rest of the body. It does it in 4 ways. There's a neurological communication, which Doug mentioned. Heart has its own very complex nervous system, sending information to the brain and the head. Brain sends information down to the heart. Heart sends information back to the brain. Conversation happening all the time. When researchers map out the neurological traffic in our bodies, they clearly see that the heart is sending a lot more information to the brain than it ever gets. If you placed your finger on your wrist, you would feel your pulse. That's a wave of energy created by the squeezing of the heart, pushing the blood through the veins and arteries. It's called a blood pressure wave. It travels through the entire body, influences everything, including brain function. In 1983, something most people don't know, the heart was actually reclassified as part of our hormonal system because it produces several very important hormones. One is called atrial peptide. One of its jobs is to reduce the release of a stress hormone called cortisol. I found that fascinating. The heart's producing a hormone to back off a stress hormone. I find that's interesting. Lastly, where it gets actually most interesting to me is the electrical heart. The heart is an electrical organ. It produces by far the strongest source of bioelectricity in our bodies, up to 40 to 60 times stronger than the second most powerful source, which is our brain. This electrical energy permeates every single cell in our bodies and is so strong it radiates beyond the skin out into space. It surrounds us in 360 degrees and can be measured 3 to 4 feet outside the body. This electromagnetic energy in this field changes depending upon our emotional state. This is where it gets really intriguing. If we're experiencing strong negative emotions like anger, frustration, resentment, all those things we can often feel, it produces an incoherent spectra in this electromagnetic field. Conversely, if we begin to experience emotions, the same ones I mentioned before, long metaphorically associated with heart, love, care, compassion, kindness, appreciation, tolerance, patience, non-judgment, those kind of things, it produces a coherent spectra in the field. We are broadcasting this electromagnetic energy to every single cell in our own bodies and then communicating it outwards into space. So there's an electromagnetic or communication always going on. So now we move in understanding heart beyond biology into physics. How does my field relate to your field? How do your collective fields together relate? How does the field in this room right now, from the accumulation of association with each other and all the great speakers, how does that field relate to the fields of the earth itself? And these are the new things that we're exploring in heart math today. We can measure some of this by looking at what's called our heart rhythms. The medical term is heart rate variability analysis. Didn't I say that good? I'm almost turning into a Californian. Heart rate variability analysis. What that means is our heart rhythms. It's different than heart rate. Timing between heartbeats changes between every single heartbeat. And as you map this out, very complex patterns emerge that show you a lot about what's going on in the body, about our physical health, and about the quality of heart-brain communication. In the top view, you see 200, when both these, 200 seconds of data across the horizontal axis. You see beats per minute on the vertical axis. In the top view, we have someone in HeartMath research labs experiencing the feeling of frustration. What happens is their heart rhythm patterns become very jagged and irregular, all over the place. It's not good for our physical health, and it actually sends signals to the brain that begin to shut down the higher perceptual centers in our brain, called cortical inhibition. The bottom view is the same person. A few minutes later, what have they done? They've shifted from feeling frustration to feeling a heart-related emotion, appreciation. Now you see the smooth sine wave-like pattern. This is what high performance looks like. This is what high quality communication between heart and brain looks like, is when you see that sine wave-like pattern. This is really good for our health, and it sends a signal to the brain that opens the brain up. It activates higher perceptual centers in the brain. It's called cortical facilitation. We have access to our higher thinking capacity, and that's where we solve our problems, isn't it? All this relates to changes going on in heart, not just in brain. So the old term that we've all heard, a change of heart changes everything, takes on new understanding. Now, once we discovered all this, we developed technology, software that can measure changes in our heart rhythms, display those changes, and then determine the quality of them by using what's called a measurement of coherence, divided into low, medium, and high. And right now, I'm going to demonstrate that for you in real time and show you how powerful this really is. So I have a willing volunteer that I met backstage just a few minutes ago, a very brave young woman named Allie, who's agreed to come out here. Allie, if you would join me on stage. There she is. You knew I'd have to pick a pretty one, didn't you? Have a seat, dear. I will attach this sensor to Allie's ear. It's just a sensor that's going to plug into. Would you please take your earring off? I have a collection of these. Attach this to your ear, please, to your earlobe. This is just plugging into the USB port of the computer. If you guys could make sure we're switched over now to the computer on stage. What I'm going to do is start this, and it's going to, first of all, make sure Allie's got a good pulse. You'll see that come up at the bottom pretty soon. In just a few seconds, you're going to see Allie's heart rhythms happening at the top of the screen in real time. This is what her heart rhythms look like right now. Now, she's up here on stage in front of a whole lot of people. I've already let you know that these heart rhythms reflect internal emotional states, so I'm sure there's no reason for her to be nervous. As you can see, there are changes occurring in real time as we do this. Now, one thing that I'd like to know from you, Allie, and it's the only real question I'm going to ask you is, are you any good at singing? Can you sing? No. Really? Why not? Well, there you go. Okay, well, I'm not going to make you sing now. Here's what I would like you to do. I'm going to make sure I got this adjusted right. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to focus your attention right in the center of your chest, right in the area of the heart. And now I want you to breathe naturally and normally. You're okay, I'll let you know what's going on. Breathe naturally and normally, but just a little bit deeper than you normally would. Nice deep breaths. And as you do, I want you to pretend as if the breath is flowing in and out right through the center of your chest. This is called heart-focused breathing. By the way, you're doing just fine, dear. Now I want you to stay with that heart-focused breathing. And now I want you to feel a positive emotion. Maybe it's the love or care you have for someone or something in your life. Don't try too hard. Just make it an easy does it process and make sure you got the breathing going on at the same time. And feel a positive emotion. love or care you have for someone or something in your life. I'm going to stop this now. First of all, we all owe Allie a round of applause. Thank you. You're doing so bad. Yeah, you did great. Now what we see here is if you see on where she started on the left-hand side, you can see that's her heart rhythm. She's up here, she's a bit nervous, and then right in here somewhere is where I started picking on her about singing and stuff. You can see that pattern. Remember the pattern I showed you in the other slide where the person was in the state of frustration, which you were not, but this was a hard thing to do. Then she began to do a simple technique where she began to access the intelligence of her heart. Heart focus, heart focus breathing, and heart feeling. You can see the smooth sine wave like pattern beginning to emerge. She did a great job being up here for the first time in front of all of you folks. And that shows you the power that you all have inside, that I have inside, to make these changes and then create different effect in the brain by changing what you do in your heart. Thank you so much. We took it another level, and now what we're doing at
Okay, I'm going to stop this because he's going to go ahead and talk about Global Coherence Initiative, which you can learn about if you go to heartmath.org. If you want to become part of that. There we go. Okay. So one of the things that Howard did not talk about is that the heart is actually the first organ to form in the human fetus. It was the first organ to form in your body before you were born. And as soon as it starts to beat, it generates that powerful electromagnetic field that he was just talking about. And it pumps those hormones that counteract stress, sends information to the brain. In fact, the electromagnetic field in the fetus is helping the cells in the fetus become the organs they're supposed to become. And it interacts with all the other energy fields of people, plants, animals, devices, the earth. So the parents of the fetus also has an impact on our development. And also, whatever line of work you're in, whether you work with people or plants or animals, if you work with technology, the quality of that field is going to affect your performance at that work. And Howard already went over this heart rate variability, so I don't really need to talk about that. I put these slides up just in case the sharing didn't work. I was going to have to do it myself. So why do we need Heart Compass Life Navigation if we have this quick coherence technique? Well, you might have noticed that Allie had to sit down and close her eyes and concentrate on the heart in order to get into that coherent field. Why is that? Well, that's because the nature of this physical reality that we're in is that our body perceives the signals that are in the environment, and the brain then creates this 3D holographic illusion of separation, which is our physical life experience. And I'll talk more about this in Module 3 when we talk about the heart, mind, body, soul connection. But the brain uses what I call false fear-based beliefs to give substance to the thought forms in the mind. That's just, excuse me, the physics of it. That's just the way it works. And false fear-based beliefs disrupt that electromagnetic field. They create brain imbalance. They activate the amygdala, fight or flight center of your brain. They make it impossible to receive your heart intelligence. So in life navigation, what we do is we use mindful awareness to get into that non-judgmental state that Howard was talking about. So we can describe, become aware of the situation of our lives in a non-judgmental way. And then we can ask ourselves, what am I thinking? What am I feeling about that? Then we write down those thoughts and feelings on Post-it notes. And remember, I told you we did that to move activity in the brain out of the fight or flight center, the amygdala, into the prefrontal cortex, that part of conscious awareness that Howard was talking about. Doing this also helps create heart coherence so that the heart can communicate better with the brain. So this system creates heart coherence, and it balances the brain, and it improves the communication between the heart and brain. It's like an all-in-one. Then we take those Post-it notes, excuse me, and we stick it on the off-course side of the Life Navigator's chart. And if you don't have your Heart Compass Owner's Manual yet, I will tell you how to get that in a moment. Excuse me, I think I need a glass of water. We're doing this live. And excuse me, what that does is it creates a target for the next step, which is going to be part 2 of module 2, when we're going to start asking the heart for love-based truth to replace those fear-based beliefs. What that means is your brain will start giving substance to the thought forms in that 3D holographic world you live in with love-based truth instead of fear-based belief. And that is going to change everything. Now, when you ask the heart for love-based truth, the heart communicates using images and feelings. The heart does not communicate in words, feelings and images. Your brain receives those images and feelings, and it will create words to describe those to you. So here's your homework assignment, all right, for the next week, is that I want you to not worry about asking your heart for love-based truth yet. We're going to do that in the next part. I want you to just practice heart coherence every day. And I recommend a minimum of 20 seconds, about once every hour or so. And the reason why is that research has been done, which shows that, for example, if we hug someone for 20 seconds, the body starts to create oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone. It's the hormone of love, for example. And if we create heart coherence for 20 seconds or more, then the body will start to create that oxytocin. So the benefits of the heart coherence will be extended physically, chemically into your body. It will last longer. And if you do it about once every hour, then you can start, building it up in your body, and then it will become less effortless, or less effortful, more effortless. If you can't do it every hour or you forget, do it when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, when you have your cup of coffee, when you have lunch, when you go to the restroom, any of those things, when you have 20 seconds to just focus on your heart, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and create feelings of gratitude, appreciation, well-being, contentment, all of those things that Howard was talking about earlier. And then next week, we're going to start asking the heart for love-based truth. And because we're practicing listening now, when you ask the heart for love-based truth, you'll have a much better experience being able to hear. That's one of the things that I hear from my clients sometimes, is that they'll go through this process. And if you can't hear from the heart what it's saying, then it's because you need more practice creating this heart coherence. Then after that week, we're going to have a live Q&A again. And if you attend the live Q&A, then you might be able to earn a bonus Mind with Heart coaching session. And the way to do that is to become a contributing community member. If you are already a contributing community member and you're here live right now and you know who you are, then there is a button above the chat section that says book time with Alana Moss, and you can book time with me this week and get a bonus 30-minute coaching session with me. If you're not yet a contributing community member, in the chat session, I have a link that goes to my professional services. You can just click on that and read about what it is and how much it costs. The price changes as we go through this school. And then you can come to this live Q&A. And if you're at the live Q&A and you are a contributing community member, then you will be able to click that button and book some time with me, get 30 minutes. And one of the great benefits of that is that I've been doing this a long time. And as Howard says, when you are creating heart coherence, it affects the field of people around you. And it doesn't matter that we are separated by time and space. That's quantum science. If people who work with me, I get into heart coherence, it helps them get into heart coherence. So I can help you get into that state, so that and help you discern the messages from the heart and what you're still hearing in your brain. So it is a very valuable 30 minutes. I encourage you to take advantage of that. And so I'm just going to leave you with your homework assignment. Most important thing, please practice heart coherence. Try to do it every day. Try to do it once an hour if you can. And if you forget, just do it whenever you think of it. Use triggers like, oh, I'm having a cup of coffee. Let's do heart coherence. Oh, I'm going to the restroom. Let's do heart coherence. Before you go to sleep at night, 20 seconds of heart coherence. Get that oxytocin, get those hormones going. And when you ask the heart for love-based truth to replace those fear-based beliefs that you've been working so hard to identify and accumulate and put on the off-course side of your chart, you will do much better being able to hear what the heart has to say to you. All right, well, that is it for today. And that is a big assignment that I've just given you. I look forward to hearing about your results, and I will see you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye for now.